Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today I'm going to show you 3 improvisation exercises, and these improvisation exercises are going to cover a whole bunch of musical levels, so I hope I can take you on this journey of improvisation with me. Improvisation is such an important way to express ourselves at the piano and to take out the middleman, the score, the sheet music in front of us telling us that we have to play this note at this time and that place. Sometimes it's really important to just take that away, put it down, and just clear the deck, and it's just you and the keyboard. And when it's an interface of just you and the keyboard, there's so many new opportunities you have in your playing that you should explore. So I encourage you, to whatever level you're at, to explore improvisation. It's such an important topic. And by the way, if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you should head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and ask about our free resources kit, which accompany the videos on this YouTube channel. And you can also ask about our flagship course, such as the Complete Musician Program, which is accumulation of all of my research and development in music education on the piano. So let's get started. Improvisation. We're going to start with a simple exercise to begin with. I think the hardest thing about improvising on the piano as a solo instrument, if you're improvising with other people, you've got a bass player, you've got a drummer, you've got a band with you, they can be responsible for certain elements of the music, like the rhythm, like the pulse and the timing, and you have a little bit more freedom. But when it's just you, you're a one-man band, and that takes a bit of time to get into the swing of. So we're just going to start with a simple exercise on the black keys in the key of D flat major. And those of you who know your scales, you'll know a D flat major also has an F and a C in it. So we just do a quick rain check on the D flat major. And now we're going to start with the left hand. The left hand on the D flat. I'm going to put my foot on the pedal. And I just want you to join me with this exercise. You can close your eyes when you do this, just to sort of get yourself feeling relaxed. Just starting with the left hand. And the left hand is just going to pulse on this D flat. This is what's going to get us into a bit of a groove first, a bit of a rhythm. And this D flat is just pulsing at a reasonably slow tempo, just 80 BPM, something like that maybe, or even a bit slower. I notice with my teaching, by the way, how tense people are when they play piano. I think it's because they're so scared they'll get something wrong, or what happens if I play the wrong note. And I think that tension really holds people back. And that's why improvisation is so important. It's an opportunity to remove your musical tension and be able to flow with the music a little bit more. So I want you to, if you're just at a piano or a keyboard, which you should be, by the way, when you watch my videos, you should be sitting at a piano or a keyboard because you'll get more out of the sessions. I want you to just play this note with me. And I just want you to close your eyes and feel and listen to the music and become part of the music. And this is where we get our first challenge, because we're going to improvise on the scale of D flat major. We're going to improvise in this scale whilst this left hand pulse is developing. So we might just start with 3 notes from the scale. And some of you, your left hand might just start to wobble a bit when you add a bit of right hand. That's totally fine. Just try and keep going. Just pick yourself up, start again. It's all about continuity, not perfection. And I'm just going to freely improvise on groups of 2 or 3 or 4 notes within this scale. So a D flat major scale is all of the black keys plus C and F. That's all it is. I could even change the left hand to other notes in the scale. Just to start building a bass line. Now, I'm not doing anything particularly clever here, by the way. I'm just milking the D flat major scale. Nothing complex is going on here. I'm just taking advantage of the scale. And you can do this exercise, this pulse exercise, on any scale you want. It will revolutionize your scale practice because it gives your scales a musical context. It's a holistic way of approaching the scale. How should we learn our scales? Again, we should be teaching our scales to our hands, to our body, so it can figure out how to play and feel the music. And this is really what we're in the business of. We're in the business of learning how to feel the music. You can have a circle of fifths, diagram hanging up on your wall, but it'll only get you so far. You want to learn how to engage the music and engage and activate the scale. What I'm doing there, I was activating the scale, and that's a great way to practice your scales. So let's now try something a little bit more complicated. And when I say complicated, this is just a more complicated left-hand pattern, which means we now get into the territory of how both of our hands have to engage with each other when we're improvising. So this can be a bit challenging at first, and I'll show you some ways to approach this challenge. You can choose any left-hand pattern really to do this sort of thing. You can pick a left-hand pattern from a piece of music. You can pick a left-hand pattern from a classical song, or for a classical piece of music, or from your favorite groove. There's just so many left hands available for you to use. I'm just picking one that comes to mind right now. I just want to play something quite beautiful and lyrical. So I'm going to just try something on a G minor chord. You notice I'm playing the first two notes of the minor chord and just swinging to the top note. So I'm going to go G minor, D minor, using some lovely inversions, and E flat major 7. Just a really nice progression, isn't it? Like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to create some motion with that. So I just need to spend some time setting this up with the left hand, because it's what's holding the music. These are dynamic improvisation patterns. So we're playing solo piano here. So this is quite difficult. We've just got to get that left hand all set up first. So this is a bit harder than the first exercise we did. Now, anything in the G minor scale in the right hand is going to fit perfectly with this progression. The G natural minor. You could also play the G harmonic minor. That would create a more dissonant effect. I'm going to use a bit of both maybe when I do this. But actually, it really doesn't matter what I do to start with. The first thing I have to do is I have to just start with a couple of notes so I can hold my left hand. So maybe I'll just start with 2 notes, and I'm going to play in synchronization with the left hand. I'm just playing in that nice synchronization, so I'm not worrying too much about coordination yet. So it's a good place to start. Maybe I'll change the notes a bit now in the right hand. And I can just explore different combinations in the right hand, keeping the same rhythm, as the left hand. Quite like this climbing up the piano motion. Seems to work quite nicely. Notice how my left hand slipped a bit there a little bit? It happens, trust me, it happens to us all when we do this. And if my left hand slips, I just pick myself up. I just pick myself up and dust myself off and keep going. Trust me, I've had to do this many times. Sounds quite nice just to get a semitone in the right hand and be in the upper register of the piano. It sounds really beautiful, doesn't it? Simple things, right? It's all about just doing those simple things to get the maximum result. Okay, now I'm going to go next level. I'm going to speed up the right hand with some faster arpeggios. And again, it all belongs to the G minor scale, what I'm doing here. I can also use some more rapid scale movements for improvisation. And then leave long gaps, that sounds quite nice. Isn't that a nicer way to practice your scales? You can vary your fingering too. The most important thing is just to use fingering that's logical. What do I mean by that? Well, fingering is all about knowing where your thumbs should go. So, if I follow a rule of thumb, like my thumb should land on C, F, or G, that's really the most important thing, is that the thumb just needs to go in intelligent places. I wouldn't put it on an E flat in this case, because it just doesn't make sense to do that. That frees me up to really explore some lovely phrases in the right hand without being constrained to a set fingering. That sort of thing. It's quite nice to just spin around 3 notes, something like that. Now, back to some simple phrases now. So that's a nice melancholic one. I'm feeling a bit melancholic today, perhaps, so I'm giving you those more melancholic, beautiful examples. But I quite like this sort of neoclassical form of improvisation. I think improvisation often gets logged in that it's just blues and jazz. Improvisation is universal. All styles of music have a place for improvisation, all styles. And so today these are more probably neoclassical improvisations, but let me throw a challenging one at you now. I mean, that was challenging enough, but I'm going to show you a next level one. And if this is starting to already go, over your hands and over your head, don't worry. There's many resources we have to help you. The first thing you should do is ask about our Complete Musician program or visit our landing page for the Complete Musician program. It is a flagship course that is a accumulation of my lifelong research and development into music education. It will revolutionize your whole approach to piano playing, and it is a structured course in 8 modules with hours and hours of structured content, a lifelong resource that will do so many things for your playing and just give you all of the tools you need to self-evaluate your playing and really, really make a big difference. So if that's something that you would be interested in, perhaps that's where you need to go. Let me go to this last little challenging exercise. We're going to do some flashy arpeggios in the left hand. This is, I wrote this one like to emulate something like a costume drama or something. It's got that feel to it, something like from a film. And it's a really fun one to do, and it's all on the white keys, so we don't really have to think too much about scales. But we've got an A minor chord with this little sort of suspended second thing going on in it. And our left hand's going to be sort of placed between these two positions. This is going to end up being an arpeggio video as well, I think. The key to fast arpeggios in the left hand, or in both hands, is to not getting too worried about putting like people make this mistake all the time when they play arpeggios. They put fingers over and under each other, and it's like they start to look like a chicken, you know, with their arms going out. You don't want to play arpeggios like that. You want to move your hand, literally just move your hand like this into different positions on the keyboard. That's how you get fast arpeggios. And if you watch a great concert pianist playing really fast, blazingly quick arpeggios and slow them down, you'll see that's what they're often doing. They're not curling fingers over and wasting all this unnecessary energy. They're just moving their hands. So if we start by doing this, A, E, A, it's like the fifth and the octave, and then we've got the chord here. This is our second position. And now I'm going to turn that into an arpeggio, foot on the pedal. I get this, I'll go a little slower. And then I can do this on different chords. Got the G, so I can just shift this around different chord positions. F, A, F, A. So what am I going to do in the right hand? I'm going to invent some nice chords using shapes. So I'm just going to start, before I play any chords, I'm just going to start with octaves in the right hand. I'm just going to make up these lovely octave melody to really have some impact to go against this left hand. So let's try it. Let's see how we go. So I was just completely improvising there. With the right hand, I'm just making up melodic content in the right hand and interacting with the left hand on the A, F, or G positions of those chords. Now, to really bring things up a level, I'm going to turn these octaves into chords in the right hand. I'm going to put a third interval below the octave to get this shape. And I can just walk down the piano with that shape. Quite fun. All right, let's see how I go. I'm going to start a bit softer this time. Now, one thing you would have noticed about that, despite the techniques involved in that and some of the more difficult virtuosic techniques involved in that, is that improvisation is not 100% improvisation. Maybe there's no such thing as 100% improvisation. There's still formulas. There's still recipes. I see this like cooking, like, you know, like you put in that thing together with that thing and that thing, you mix them together and they taste delicious, and then you add a bit of that and you add a bit of that and you're building something up like a recipe. So we've got that left hand, we have the movement of that left hand, and we have the right hand, these sparkling chords and these octaves, and you're putting things together. And I really encourage you to change the way you think about your music education. Don't get trapped into the semantics of too much overthinking and theory and too much obsession with notation excellence of exactly playing every dot and dotted line and detail of what's on the musical score. Now, it's important we have musical scores. They record our musical history. They're very, very important things, don't get me wrong. But you still need to have some autonomy over yourself when you play the piano. You still need to have your own movement and relationship with the instrument, with your own body, rather than always having a middleman in the way telling you that you have to play it like this and like that. For so many, it just creates this gap, and they have this standoff relationship with the instruments. There's this block they have because their body doesn't get the chance to ever actually play and get involved with the instrument, because they've got this thing telling them that they have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Scores aren't meant to be about that. You want to actually understand the piano on that deeper level, and that's why I really advocate improvisation. And if you want to know more about the programs we have, such as the Complete Musician program, which has modules on how to improvise on the piano, we have backing tracks, orchestral backing tracks, where you get the pleasure to just freely create music to backing tracks on your headphones. Imagine that, feeling like that you're playing with an orchestra and you're just playing whatever you like, you're freely improvising. It really changes your relationship with music, and it's part of our course, the Complete Musician program, which is available, and you can just, to find out more about the course, just look at the details on the course here, either on our YouTube channel or via our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. And you can also request our free resources kit, which are a useful accompaniment for these YouTube videos, some of these YouTube videos. And, well, I just want to hear your stories. Put some comments in the comments section, your stories about improvisation. What are you finding difficult with it? Where are the challenges? What do you want to know about it? What has revealed itself to you when you have tried improvising? Do you have this problem where you're too reliant on looking at music and you're starting to tense up? How can you relax more at the instrument? Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation about it so we can together change the way we approach music. And I look forward to speaking with you soon in the next video. Thank you very much.